Welcome principals and staff. I've been asked to present on two teaching strategies which I will be including in my teaching program this year. The two teaching strategies that I've chosen to present on will be differentiation and direct instruction. In presenting these two strategies, I'll be briefly detailing the key features of each strategy, the learning context in which their use is identified as being most appropriate, the impact of the strategy on student learning, and I'll address how each strategy contributes to effective teaching practices. The key sources I've used to develop this presentation are the Australian Literacy Educators Association, the Victorian Department of Education and Early Childhood Development, Education Consumer Foundation, and the Literacy and Numeracy Secretariat, as well as some others. What are key features of the differentiation strategy and direct instruction? Differentiation has two key features. The first feature focuses on understanding the learner, and the second is responding by providing appropriate learning material. With this strategy, educators can continually evolve their awareness of their students' learning strengths and requirements through monitoring and assessing their readiness, interest, and learning preferences. Direct instruction refers to a teacher-centered lesson that focuses on a clear set of behavioural and cognitive goals, as well as outcomes. Two key features that stand out in this strategy, one of them being the need for clearly defined knowledge and skills, and the other being a teacher-directed interaction. When looking at clearly defined knowledge and skills, educators need to make sure that students know what is required of them. Since differentiation is focused on the learner and providing appropriate learning material, a suitable context in which to apply the strategy is a maths lesson. Maths is a subject where there can be a vast array of differing ability within the class. Some students in the class may have a higher ability, whereas others may need extra assistance. Applying the teaching strategy of differentiation would allow teachers to give students of varying levels work that will help them grow their ability in maths. Differentiation allows this because with this strategy the teacher is actively monitoring the students' learning responses and evolving the lesson material to develop each student's understanding of the material. With direct instruction, the teacher is given maximum control over what, when and how students learn. This strategy is then best suited in the context of beginning a new topic. The reason for this is that the teacher is able to set the foundation and framework from which the students can then explore within. Examples of this would be in teaching phonics, fluency, vocabulary and comprehension. With knowledge of these key components, students have a good base from which they can develop and explore reading. But with all this background established, what is the impact of both of these teaching strategies have on student learning? Though there is limited research on differentiated instruction as a specific practice, there is solid research which does verify a number of practices that are a part of the foundation of differentiation, such as promoting student engagement and motivation, assessing the student's readiness, responding to learning styles, just to name a few. There's also growing research which is showing strong results for implementing differentiated instruction in mixed ability classrooms. One 3-year study in Canada which focused on the application and effect of differentiated instruction in K-12 classrooms in Alberta found that differentiated instruction consistently produced positive results across the wide range of identified groups. Researchers also found that students with mild or severe learning disabilities benefited greatly from the differentiated instruction, especially when it was delivered with targeted instruction. Unlike differentiation, direct instruction has been researched quite heavily with a strong positive favouring for its use as a teaching strategy. One study that found in favour of direct instruction was the follow-through project conducted in the United States. This project applied different strategies for teaching to at-risk children to see if any of these strategies would produce student outcomes superior to the norm of at-risk children. 9 teaching strategies were used in 51 school districts over a 10-year period. The results that followed showed that direct instruction was a clear winner. This is just one of many studies that displays the impact of the strategy on student learning. To analyse how both strategies contribute to effective teaching practice, I've used the Centre for Education, Statistics and Evaluation's definition of effective teaching practice. The Centre defines effective teaching practice as having a strong research base, clearly understood by classroom practitioners, and are direct responses to students' identified learning needs. So how do these both strategies weigh up against criteria? Both strategies have strong research base to support that they positively affect students' learning. Do classroom practitioners understand the strategies? Research suggests that novice teachers avoid the use of differentiated instruction, whereas veteran teachers readily use it. Direct instruction, on the other hand, is more readily used by both novice and veteran teachers, as it gives the teacher firm control over the classroom. Do both strategies respond to students' identified learning needs? Both strategies address students' learning needs in different ways. Direct instruction gives students clear learning outcomes and success criteria, a structured and controlled environment, and a classroom that is monitored by the teacher who gives frequent feedback to the students. Differentiated instruction does this, but also addresses students' specific ability levels by allowing teachers to develop material to target each student's ability. With this information, I've decided to include these two strategies in my teaching program this year, as I believe they will aid both myself in teaching my lesson and material, and my students in growing in knowledge and understanding.